Well, I thought the easiest way maybe to explain my story is to make a video of it. And it seems that everybody else is doing that, so why shouldn't I? I'm a 31-year-old man and I've worked in a bunch of different fields. I've been a certified nursing assistant, been paramedic EMT. I've worked at Amazon as an on site medical rep, and I've worked with the special needs for the past year. Recently, not anymore. The reason I left my job is because I worked for a company that had a contract with a union that made me work over 50 hours a week, and after taxes, only bring home about $31,000 last year. Now that's below poverty wage, right? Yet I was forced to work 50 to 60 hours a week for this company with a contract with a union that allowed them to do that. Well, pending legal stuff that I don't want to talk about yet, but I observed that company doing a lot of really shady stuff. And I told that company what they're doing is wrong, and they didn't care. So I told my union rep, and they didn't care. The next day, they did the exact same thing I told them was illegal, and they did it again in an illegal way. Now, this company has also neglected to offer me proper training, proper staffing, proper backup with my escalation in case there are things I need to call them for. For example, when I'm chasing someone around a town and I call my manager, who is in a state over, who is supposed to respond to these things in less than 5 minutes to assist me with it. They didn't come over because they were watching horse races in the state over. Nothing was ever done to that manager. In fact, that manager would repeat that behavior multiple times. That is illegal. Now, okay, boo hoo, you work for a bad company. Every company is like that. You try to just find a job that you're lucky that will pay you enough to live in a crappy basement below a pizzeria that is owned by a landlord who is also a professor at a Christian college across the street and a pastor. So, a professor at a Christian school and a pastor. And I had such bad black mold that it was actually causing psychosis. I've worked for Amazon, where the reason I was forced to leave was because I offered somebody an opinion about why people don't like them. Not to mention the guy said if I could find him some Oxycontin in my hometown, because he knows my hometown has a lot of that kind of floating around. I'm the one who got fired. You would have to make $40 an hour to be able to survive on your own. 60% of my money that I earned last year went to the government because we have state, federal withholding, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. When I buy something, sales tax. Put gas in my car, additional gas tax. We now have a luxury tax in my town. I'm not saying that I'm giving up because that's stupid. But if it wasn't for Jesus, Izzy, what would I have? And I think of all the people I used to have as friends who don't have Jesus because it's my fault for being a bad example. What are they supposed to do? And I'm not saying that I have no hope that things are going to get better, but I think it's plain to see that without Jesus, which a lot of my generation is that way, physically and materialistically we're screwed, which wouldn't matter, right? If, like, oh, I can rely on my family. My family's experiencing generational and familial trauma that is so petty and beneath me that I'm just trying to solve with a rapid fire therapy session. But people are so defensive because of the men in my family were raised by women that hated them. Sorry. And the men in my family do not know how to take charge because they're made guilty for every little mistake they make. And I'm trying to break that. And literally, Satan is fighting me. I know I'm going to win eventually because I have Jesus. But what if I didn't have Jesus? And I have multiple illnesses that if I did not take medication for, I would probably last maybe about a month before I keel over and die. And with the upcoming collapse of the American market, economy, government, supply chain, if I die, I have enough supply for about 3 months if I can keep it cold. Because it's also insulin, dude. Multiple types too. So with this whole instability coming up and everybody kind of losing their mind, I'm newly married. I have a child on the way. My family hates each other. No one's listening to Jesus, even though they claim to be Christians. So, I get it. I know I shouldn't be down on myself, and I'm not. But if you look at this from an objective standpoint, can you just kind of acknowledge that kind of sucks, right? And I know there's nothing I can do, because I've literally said I have no idea what I'm supposed to do now, so I'm just going to do nothing and see what God does for me. But, like, it's tough, man. And I really think people need to start actually networking, underground churches, connecting with people, supply runs, supply lines, backups, generator. We need to be doing that now because, I know you guys make fun of Protestants, but I'm not saying I'm a big P Protestant. I'm like default. I don't like any denomination. They all have their faults. I don't like intellectual theology. I have the faith of a child. That's all I rely on. Jesus and Paul tells me to. That's what I'm going to do. That being said, I wish other people would maybe try that a little bit, because everybody talks about the Bible and what we're supposed to do, and literally Paul is our instruction guru. All right? He's the guy. And I feel like Paul has a couple things to say about this stuff. And if people are 1776ers, where are you? What are you doing? 60% of my check goes to the government before I even get to touch it. And the Boston Tea Party was over a 3% tea tax. No, people are lulled in under a spell right now, and many Christians are in the deception. Jesus liked pacifism and preached non-aggression, and that it is better for you to suffer than an unbeliever to not have a chance to meet him. I'm not saying I'm holier than thou doing that perfectly. I'm a walking piece of human garbage. Like that Bill Wurtz, I'm a piece of garbage. I'm a disgusting piece of human you know what I'm talking about. So, I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, I understand the whole pick yourself up by your bootstraps, but, like, I can't find a job that pays more than $20 an hour. I live with my grandparents now because my parents would rather have another kind of lifestyle than having their eldest son move back in for a third time, I'm pretty sure. Or probably not. That's just me being angry. But, yeah, love to connect and maybe even do, like, a chat together about this. Because I'm not giving up. I'm not hopeless. I'm doing all right. I know God has got me in his hands, but, like, can we at least acknowledge that my story probably isn't that unique, and there's at least a million other men that are doing something very similar, and that's pretty bleak, especially if they don't have Jesus. Appreciate you, Izzy.